Maya Torres stepped off the transport shuttle and felt the familiar weight of Earth's gravity settle into her bones. The Lagos orbital terminal stretched out before her like a small city, its concrete expanse dotted with the hulking forms of interplanetary cargo haulers. Their orange and white hulls bore the scars of countless atmospheric entries, heat blackened and patched where micrometeorites had found their mark. She pulled her daughter's hand closer as they moved through the crowds. Families clustered around their allotted transport vessels, children crying, parents checking and rechecking their migration permits. The morning sun beat down mercilessly, but Maya barely noticed. Her neural implant had been feeding her stress regulation compounds for the past 3 hours, keeping her functional despite the magnitude of what they were about to do. "Mama, I changed my mind," Luz whispered, tugging at Maya's jumpsuit. "I want to stay with Abuela." Maya knelt down, meeting her 8-year-old's eyes. Behind them, the departure klaxon for the Lagos to Europa route began its low, mournful wail. Their ship, the Meridian Hauler designation KC-471, sat waiting 200 meters away, its cargo bay already half full with the belongings of 300 families. "Remember what we talked about, Mija. The water here will be gone in 5 years. Maybe 3, if the Sahara expansion keeps accelerating." Maya touched the small device clipped to her collar, a real-time atmospheric monitor that had become as essential as clothing for anyone living within 1,000 kilometers of the advancing desert. The particulate count was already climbing toward the yellow zone, and it wasn't even noon. Around them, the controlled chaos of departure day continued. Automated cargo loaders trundled between the ships, their AI pathfinding systems navigating the crowds with mechanical precision. Maya watched a family from her housing block, the Okonkwo's, disappear into the belly of a Titan-class hauler bound for the mining colonies on Ganymede. She'd known their son since he was Luz's age. Now she might never see any of them again. The neural integration clinic had promised that the separation anxiety would fade within 6 months of arrival on Europa. The colony's atmospheric processors had been running for 25 years now, building on automated excavation work and mining infrastructure that had been established decades earlier. The underground cities were supposed to feel just like Earth, only better, cleaner, safer. No sandstorms, no water wars, no refugee camps stretching to the horizon. Maya's wrist display chimed with a priority message from her brother. Still in Houston, still insisting that the climate refugees were overreacting, that the technology would save them all. He'd been saying the same thing for 3 years, even as the Gulf of Mexico continued its relentless march inland. Family Group Torres, proceeding to boarding Gate 7, the ship's AI announced, its voice cutting through the ambient noise with perfect clarity. Maya felt her stomach clench. The implant released another dose of anxiolytics, but it couldn't touch the deeper ache. She shouldered their single regulation bag, everything they owned compressed into 43 kilograms of allowable personal effects. The rest had been sold, donated, or left behind in their hastily abandoned apartment. The holographic family photos, Luz's collection of printed books, the antique coffee maker that had belonged to Maya's grandmother, all casualties of the weight restrictions. As they walked toward their assigned hauler, Maya noticed the other passengers. Most were young families, like theirs, but she spotted a few elderly couples who'd managed to secure passage through the lottery system. Everyone moved with the same mixture of determination and numbness that she felt. The evacuation protocols were voluntary, officially, but Maya knew better. The insurance companies had already begun redlining entire regions. The banks had stopped issuing 30-year mortgages for anything south of Memphis. The ship's loading bay smelled of recycled air and industrial lubricants. Maya found their designated sleep pods, compact but functional, with basic life support and a small entertainment system. Luz climbed in immediately, fascinated by the interface panels, but Maya stood in the cramped aisle for a moment longer. Through the small porthole window, she could see the city where she'd been born. Lagos stretched to the horizon, its climate-controlled domes glinting in the harsh sunlight. Beyond that, barely visible through the haze, lay the new coastal wall that held back the rising Atlantic. The wall that wouldn't hold back the desert. The ship's captain, a weathered woman named Restrepo, who'd been running evacuee transports for 3 years, made her final announcement. Departure in 30 minutes. Artificial gravity will engage once we clear the atmosphere. Europa. Arrival in 73 days, assuming normal solar weather. Maya sealed herself into the pod next to Luce, who had already fallen asleep with her thumb in her mouth, a habit she'd thought they'd broken 2 years ago. The child's neural development tablet projected gentle images of Europa's ice-covered surface, the underground forests, the artificial sky that supposedly mimicked Earth's perfectly. As the hauler's engines began their pre-flight sequence, Maya pressed her palm against the cool metal of the bulkhead and wondered if courage was just another word for having no choice left. Outside, the crowds were already thinning as the last of the day's departures prepared for launch. By evening, the terminal would be empty again, waiting for tomorrow's refugees. The ship shuddered as it lifted off, and Maya felt Earth's gravity release its hold on her for what might be the last time. Through the porthole, the world she was leaving grew smaller and smaller, until it looked almost peaceful. A blue marble, suspended in the darkness, beautiful and broken and irretrievably lost. This has been Departure. Thank you for listening.